X-Men 97 Cyclops. I was on the fence about it. I did not buy the VHS one because those prices were crazy for me. And also, I'm not a big fan of cell shading, so I didn't get that. Well, besides that Daredevil, that's another thing in itself. I didn't like the face at first, but I painted the visor, and I like it a lot more. I watched X-Men 97. I was waiting for it to go off. I binge watched it, and it was a great watch. It was honestly one of the greatest cartoons I've seen in my life. I'm not even gonna lie. It's definitely top 2. This figure is great. It really renewed a lot of people's love for Cyclops. And people who read comics already knew what Cyclops was on, but a lot of us don't read comics. So X-Men 97 visualizing that for us was great because it made me like it even more. I did a little mod to this one I'm going to show you a little bit later, but let's punch in and take a look at the details. I already mentioned that I painted the visor. All I did was put some Tamiya clear red in there just to fill it out. The paint just wasn't reaching all the way over on this end, so I just wanted to fill it out and make it look a little bit better, and I think it does. I'm considering painting the visor gold, but I like it the way it is. I'm going to be honest. Initially, I did not like this head sculpt. I thought it was too cartoony. It doesn't really look how he looks in the show. Someone swapped over another head and looked better. I like what they did with this Vulcan body with this harness too, because on that original figure, this harness was a mess. It was floating. It was all one piece, and it was terrible. Here, they just made it part of the body, which is great because it doesn't look bad. It doesn't get in the way. It moves. It does everything it's supposed to do, which is great. It's so much better than this being one piece and it floating and you got to glue it down and do all the extra stuff. This is just a blue Vulcan body, but we all know and love that Vulcan body, so it's great. I like the way they did the straps too. The straps are now part of the leg instead of being an overlay. Same thing down here. It's part of the leg and not an overlay. That's great. That's great work. The bands on the arms are not, I don't know if they're glued down, but they're tight. They're not moving or anything, so that's a good touch. Paintwork is good. That black and that red isn't going anywhere. There's no paint on the back of the figure. I wanted to talk about this visor mod I did really quick. This is the visor piece that comes with Astonishing Cyclops. I used that body for fodder, so I had this laying around, and I figured I would just go in here and make some room for this. All I did was make room for it, and I shoved it in there. I didn't do anything special. I didn't trim this. I just shoved it in there. Took my X-Acto and just cleared out the space. You can use whatever you want. If you can use a drill bit or a Dremel to get in there, do what you got to do. But yeah, it just ports in. It doesn't come out. It doesn't fall out when you touch it. You literally take it out. The other effect fits in there too. So I don't know where it is to show you. If I find it, I'll put it in later. But that's just a simple mod I did, and I like the way it looks. Watch the show, you know that is fitting for Cyclops. So I wanted to add it. I know the Mafex has that too. So good little touch there. Really easy mod too. Like, doesn't require anything more than an X-Acto. If you've seen literally any Marvel Legends video with the Vulcan body, you already know the articulation setup. Nothing is different here. It's all the same. That far up on the head, that far down, it does swivel because it's on a disc, one of my favorite joints. It does swivel. It gets a little bit of expression, so that's cool. Up that far on the shoulder. I did not do the shoulder mod because I don't want to loosen up these butterfly joints. You do get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, really nice range. The wrist does swivel because it pegs in and you get hinge on there. Torso goes back that far, forward that far. This is probably one of the rare instances where a figure goes better forward than back. Most Legends bend back better. You do get a waist swivel, belt won't get in the way. Nice, that's really nice. I'm telling you, so much better. Up that far on the hip, back that far. Double jointed knee, won't kick his own ass. I guess he will if you force it, but he won't kick his own ass. You also get a thigh swivel, boot cut, ankle goes down that far, up that far, and you get ankle pivot. Overall, all in all, throughout all of time, this figure is great. I like this figure so much. I wasn't going to keep it because I have the Mafex, but honestly, it's a good figure. Some size comparisons. Here he is next to She-Hulk, Model 20 Iron Man, Model 24, whatever you want to call it. Here's a G.I. Joe, taller than a Joe. Here he is next to Pretty Boy from that 5-pack. Here he is next to Maggot. Maggot's bigger. Last but not least, here he is next to his offspring. I say if you see this figure out, buy it. It's a great figure. I think for a standalone Cyclops figure, it's great. And they didn't lock it behind a pack. They didn't lock it behind an exclusive. I think that's great. So if you see it or you know where it is for a good price, I get it. I would get it. I wouldn't pay more than 30 though. 30 is my cap. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.